Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Eclectic Knitter podcast. It has been over 6 months, I think, since I've recorded, or maybe not quite 6 months. It's been a while. Obviously, I'm in a different location. I'm in the same apartment. I'm just in my living room instead of the office because this couch is more comfier than the computer chair. So, I'm using a different camera. You can see all the stuff I have piled over here. I don't even have my show notes up, so that's super fun and stuff. So let's see how this goes. There's no finished objects. There's whips. There's cross stitching. I did not grab a book, so there's no book. Oh, well, there is a book close to me. It's just maybe I haven't finished it, so it's maybe not the book that I would want to talk about necessarily, because I'm only like this far in. And yeah, I guess there'll be life stuff, because, may as well while I'm here, right? First of all, it is August 28th. It's 3:30 Mountain Standard. It's cloudy outside, but the lighting's okay. So I guess we'll get right into it. Like I said, no finished objects. First whip, I have a sock. I don't know if you've seen it before or not. It's in my bird leg bags. Yes, bird leg bags bag. It's a small wedge. It was a custom order. I saw she had this fabric in a larger size, and I asked her if she could make me one in a smaller size. And this is her smallest wedge. I was hoping it would be more like my Girl Cave Bags sock bag, but it's actually quite a bit bigger, which isn't quite nice for bringing around stuff. But anyway, I have a Jaywalker sock in, I don't know if I like the camera so far away, so we might play with it a little bit. It's in Red Heart, Heart and Soul. I have 2 skeins of this from my mom. These socks are for my mom. This is the 3rd pair of Jaywalkers I will have made this year, but only the 3rd pair of socks that I've made this year. So I haven't really been knitting a whole lot. I've started up recently, but wasn't knitting for quite a while. Just didn't feel it, Cross stitch kind of ate my soul for a little while, so just didn't feel like knitting, but I have started again. Last time when I started working on these again, I think I was like here. And now I knit a good chunk of it on the way to my parents' place in August. Like, I think I got down to the foot or the heel or something, because I can knit in the car, and my partner at the time was driving, so I could knit. But I haven't actually worked on them a lot recently. I've been working on something else. So the second knitted object that I've actually been working on. I'm going to move the camera closer, so I'm sorry if it's jiggly. That's maybe a little bit better. Okay. I've been working on the sweater for my sister-in-law like a crazy person the last probably week or two. It is the Row cardigan. It was her birthday present last June. My mom bought the yarn from Webb's. It was a clearance yarn. It is, I don't think I have any tags here. It's Luette Gems worsted in the color steel gray. There's a lot of quotation marks around steel gray. It's the gray part that is. So you may have seen the back last time or in the past. So this week I completely finished the back. It took 4 skeins. It's a Brooklyn tweed pattern, and I mean, it's beautiful, as you can see. And it's actually looking kind of gray on the pictures, but it is purple. It's a purple gray. It's a steel purple. Depending on the lighting, it can look more or less purple, but there's always kind of this purpliness to it. The back is done. Took 4 skeins to do the back. So I'm doing the 53 and a 3/4 inch, because it's supposed to be oversized. You're supposed to do 6 inches, 6 inches of positive ease in it. And she's like I don't even want to say. 53 was the closest I could get to 6 inches. It's actually a little bit more than 6 inches, but I felt that the 50-inch, it goes like 50 and a half, and then 63 and a half, and then like 60, or no, not 60, 50 and a half, and then 53 and like 3/4 or something, and then like the next size is like 58. And 50 I felt would be almost maybe not oversized enough, and 53 is maybe too oversized. But she does like a lot of comfort, and as you can tell from the cabling and the oversized, and it's got a really big double layer ribbed collar, and it doesn't really have buttons to close it. So with it being, it's almost more like a coat rather, or a jacket rather than a sweater, if that makes sense. I think it'll be okay if it's a little bit too oversized. And I'm not ripping it back now, so she's stuck with it. So yeah, I've actually been enjoying it. I enjoy knitting cables. I enjoy knitting things that are really intricate. I actually found that vertical wise, it doesn't take, so you have to do to the underarms 19 inches. I don't feel like I'm giving too much of away of the pattern to do that, because I think it tells you. I don't know. I think it's by Michelle Wang. I should have said that earlier. It is in a Brooklyn Tweed collection, but it is, I think, by Michelle Wang. I had 3 of the side panel, these repeats, 3 of those before I split off for the underarms, and then the sleeve depth is like 9 3/4 inches for this size, and that was another 2 full repeats of the main body pattern, which is has different row numbers and chart numbers, so you're following like 3 charts at a time. It's like 2.5 basically of the bigger middle pattern. So yeah, I haven't washed this. I have not blocked it because I want to knit all of the body pieces before I start washing. This is living in my fat squirrel fiber. No, phone! My phone fell. I have a sectional, so my phone fell in between. Anyway. It's in my fat squirrel fiber sweater bag. At least this section is. Nothing else of it is. I need to actually wind more yarn. So the back took exactly 4 skeins, and I'm currently working on the left front, and as you can see, I have bound off for the underarm, and I'm working my 2 more repeats of the pattern. And for this one, I did 3 repeats of this pattern, and then I measured it, and it was like pretty much exactly 9 inches. The ribbing doesn't, like, I don't really like doing ribbing, but the ribbing doesn't even seem like it's taking that long, because the vertical, like, it's 5 inches of ribbing. But because it's worsted, you don't seem to need to do as many rows. Like, I'm used to doing ribbing on size 0s on sock yarn, where it takes forever. But yeah, and this cable is really, really easy. You can see it has the X and O cables, which you can actually see better on the camera than you can in real life, like right in here. It has the XO cable on either side. And then just this, and then it's got like, I think it's a double moss stitch. It's a lot of fun. It's not boring. It's not difficult. At least I don't think it's difficult, but I've never considered really much to be difficult in knitting, which may sound a little hoity-toity, but it's just the way it is. I mean, one of my first projects was lace. Yay! So I've never been one to shy away from difficult. My first sock was like the Twisted Flower sock by Cookie A, which is 1x1 cable-y fantasticness. And those socks, I did them in Madeline Tosh 80-10-10, which is their cashmere nylon base, and they wore through. And I have darned one of them on the bottom. Like, it's really, really thin on the balls of my feet, and I need to darn the second one. I don't remember if I've done that or not yet. But I think they're still in my sock drawer. I just don't wear them that often because they have holes. I've only had a couple pairs that have done that. It's like the first couple pairs that I knit when I realized that I really, really liked knitting socks and wearing knit socks because they were the only knit socks I had, so I wore them all the time. So those ones I found have worn through. I also had a pair of Barocco socks, which is like a Patton's Croix opal kind of feeling sock. My mom actually picked up a couple skeins down in the States one time for me to knit her, myself, and my sister-in-law each a pair of socks. And mine literally have a hole in the bottom. I don't know if I stepped on something that ripped them, but it's literally like a chunk this big missing from like the bottom of my sock, right kind of in the ball. So those I actually threw out. I may have been able to darn them, but I don't know if I don't know. It's too bad. Actually, I think they're still sitting on my dresser right now. I found them the other day. Oh yeah, there is enabling. I forgot to mention that. Next, what I think I'm going to do is cross stitch because that's what I've been spending actually the majority of my time on in the last couple months. I got hit with the cross stitch bug once last year and I staved it off because I don't have time for another hobby, you know? But then finally I couldn't stave it off anymore and started doing. So I have a couple of Frosted Pumpkin stitchery patterns, one of which you can see right there. And then I have one Heaven and Earth design that I actually started. So I'll start with that one. I haven't worked on it much recently. I'm done a full, well, I have the large chart pattern. I don't know why I ordered the large chart. The large chart is more expensive. The pages are actually, there's fewer stitches on the page because the chart is larger, but I'm not printing it out. I'm using good PDF or something on my iPad to like highlight the stitches that I've done, so I don't even know why I bothered. And I have gridded it since I started. I wasn't gridding when I did start. And this is a pattern based on art by Christine Grandjean or Golden Wolf. So it's got a tree here, and then on this side, like it's quite long, and well, you can see how kind of wide it is. I haven't, like I said, I haven't worked on it for a while. So I've gotten this page almost done. There's like a couple of stitches here and there that are missing. I'm doing it 2/1 half stitches, half crosses. So I'm not doing a full X. So it does go quite quickly. This is a full coverage piece. Heaven and Earth Designs does only full coverage pieces. And I'm kind of parking. I've never parked before. I'm not really that familiar with it. So yeah, that was fun while I was working on it. I've come up with a system that I think works for me as far as keeping my cross stitch things. I bought these are scrapbook cases from Michaels. They're to hold scrapbook paper technically. And then I bought little rings, binder clip rings, and I've made these out of cardboard, and I put the number and the symbol, and then I punch a hole. Well, actually I punch a hole first and then I do the number and the symbol. And then when I use the color, I then wind off, you know, what I don't use right away, I put onto these little makeshift thread organizers, I guess. Because I find that it's specifically to Heaven and Earth Designs, but even some of the Frosted Pumpkin stitchery ones, you're doing like little blocks of color here and there. And I mean, for Heaven and Earth Designs, you're doing a lot of, you know, confetti sometimes, single stitches of one color. So it goes faster for me to switch colors if I already have the lengths measured out and I don't have to wind it off a bobbin and deal with that. So I found this working better. So the nice thing about it is that I can pack everything away, keeps it out of the dust. I can shove it away from the sun. And then when I do want to use it, I just have to grab it and I can work on it pretty much. And find a frame. I always cross stitch by hand because my mom always cross stitched by hand. And so I decided to try a scroll frame, so I guess I'll bring that out next. This is Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. Their Fairy Tales, or Once Upon a Time sampler from 2014. This was their month-by-month thing. I have done... I need to take it off of this scroll frame because I don't really like it on the scroll frame. So I tried this scroll frame. It's my mom's. She found it in her basement. And I find I'm struggling to get a tension that allows me to really use it well. And I don't know if that's because I don't know what I'm doing with a scroll frame. And I like made it up basically as I was going. Or I don't even know how to get this out. Or if I just suck at scroll frames. I don't even know how to get this side off. Seriously. Wow. This is tight. I mean, it's against their tight, but it's not. So I used this for a little while. There we go. I don't know what I'm doing. Hope I'm not breaking it. But it's not really my thing. I have learned. I have grown, as it were. Come on. Okay. Yeah. You know. So, anyway, I'm trying partly to take this off so that you guys can see better. There we go. All right. But I've also got it like stitched on. So this is an old school scroll frame where you have to actually stitch on your work. You stitch it right onto the little frame thing. I'm not very good at sewing, so maybe that's part of my problem too, that I didn't stitch it on properly. I would totally be willing to believe that. It's got this fabric that's actually stapled onto the frame. So I tried this for a while, and it was better, for sure. And then I decided to try Q-snaps. Well, they're hard to find where I live, I've found, and I have not felt like ordering them online. So I bought the knockoff Q-snaps from Michael's, and they're okay. I find them a little bit slippery. Like, I find they don't, like, they clip on, but I find that my tension gets loose after a while, and I have to kind of like adjust them so that it's tight again. And I don't know if that's just because of how I've been doing my stitching. I've started doing, like, I use my right hand on top to push down, and then I pick it up with my left hand. And I know that would work a lot better if I had an actual stand that I wasn't holding it as well while I was doing that. But that's whatever. Stands are expensive. They really are. So we're not getting a stand anytime soon, if ever. And that is okay. We're going to just put this kind of back together. And I don't want to lose these washers or anything for it. Sorry this is taking so long. I should have done this before, but gave me a chance to talk about the scroll frame. So as you can see, I have finished like a lot of stuff. I haven't touched this for quite a while now, because I got invested in other things. So hopefully I will pick it up again. It is on the fabric called for in the pattern from Picture This Plus. I believe it's a 28 count Lugana. It's hand dyed in the doubloon colorway, and it's got sparkle in it, but I'm not sure if you can see the sparkle in it. So I'm completely done April, May, and July, and I'm almost done June. And then I've got a lot of the border done and a lot of the inner kind of borders done as well. This I do not have set up with a little case, or I don't have the yarns sorted out onto a thread sorter thingy. I just don't, because that's how it's been long enough that I haven't worked on it since I set up the system for myself. So I haven't worked on it since I sorted out what I actually liked. So the last cross stitch thing that I have been working on is the Frosted Pumpkin Stitcheries monthly stitch along for this year. It is on a knockoff, I guess, Q-Snap. I had problems with fabric. I actually custom ordered fabric from my local yarn store, which also sells cross stitch stuff. And if you watch Sadie Ruin from the Yarnivore podcast and her floss tube, she goes to the same one. She picked up some Mirabilias from there last time she was in town. I pre-ordered some from there, or special ordered some from there. They never called me. I don't know if it ever came in. I don't know. Like 2 months later, she said it would be like 10 business days or something. This was, I think, in May. No, I think it was earlier than that. It was April. And at the end of June, I finally said, okay, well, if they're not going to, get it in or call me when they get it in, then I will just order it from Picture This Plus. And this is this year's thing, monthly, let's go on an adventure. I'm doing it on the fabric called for, except I bought the sparkly fabric because why not? As you can see, I have January, which is the UK, almost done. I have the middle section done. I have June done, which is Russia. I don't think I've done her eyes. No, I have not done her eyes. And then I have July and August done, which is the pyramids and the Taj Mahal, obviously. So I have been trying to catch up on this in between months. I do have this set up in a little box, which is buried under a whole whack load of stuff right now, so I'm not going to mess with that too much. I actually bought an 8-inch square one of these and then an 11-inch square one, and I made like a rectangular, 2 rectangular ones, which has been working out nicely. And yeah, I've been enjoying this. I don't mind the colors. I don't mind the fabric. I know some people aren't big fans of the color scheme or anything that they've gone with, and that is okay. It doesn't bother me any, as long as I like it and, I'm enjoying working on it. I have made one customization change to it. The shirt, the girl's shirt on the little scooter is supposed to be like Parisian, so the next, like February was Paris. Spoilers. And her shirt is supposed to be like red and white striped. I decided to do it solid red because on the chart I found that section of the pattern very busy because she has like a little moped-y thing. So I did her shirt completely red. If I don't like it, I don't like it. It's my own fault, right? So that is everything I have actually been working on. Let's do enabling. Okay. I haven't bought a lot of yarn, but now I have a lot of yarn on order, which is a problem because I don't need more yarn. So I bought this from Tanis Fiber Arts, her Etsy shop. She's changed a lot of the way she does her stuff now. This is a mini skein set of her Blue Label fingering in, let's see, Sand, Chris Gray, Spearmint, Lotus, Atlantic, Tidal, Frost is here, And then lilac, rose gray, and sweetheart, pink grapefruit, and buttercup. So each of these is 16 grams or 60 yards. It's 720 yards total. I'm not sure what I'm doing with it yet, but I really liked it, so I picked it up. Came really fast with shipping. Was reasonably priced. I like buying from Tanis Fiber Arts because she is a Canadian company, therefore I'm not paying exchange. And then when I was in Winnipeg for August long weekend, we went to the local yarn store, and I picked up 2 skeins of Ancient Art Yarns Revitalize or Reinvent, which is made out of recycled materials, I believe. And it is 49% wool, 34% mohair, 10% nylon, 4% acrylic, and 2% silk. It's a fingering sock weight. This is the colorway To Boldly Go. It's got a lot of purples and blues and pinks. It'll be socks. And then in the same base, I picked up Inuit Art, which is grays and purples and blues and some browny kind of yellows. It does have a bit of a halo to it. It's not focusing on it because my face is in the way. No, it doesn't really want to focus. All right. But those will both be socks. It's not the softest, I want to say, but it's not bad. And then I picked up 3 skeins of Cascade Yarns Superwash 220. It's a lot less blue than that. It's purple. It's a kind of plummy, reddy purple, but apparently the color that you're kind of seeing over here is kind of accurate. If that shows up. So I have 3 skeins of it. It's for a sweater for my niece, probably for Christmas. I'm going to try to do it for Christmas. I actually have another t-shirt or sweater that I want to do for her too in fingering weight. That will need a zipper, so my mom's going to have to help me out with that. And then I got 2 skeins of fingering with a in a swap package, and they were neon green and they were really pretty. They were hand dyed, and I actually over dyed them using Wilton's food coloring in royal blue late last week, and this is how they turned out, but they're a lot greener than that, let me tell you. They remind me of Solace from Malabrigo right now, because there's sections where it's very dark blue. Like there's a section that's really dark blue in there, and then there's a section that's really green in there where the dye didn't pick up, and you can see it's kind of variegated. So I've got 2 skeins of this. I'm not sure what I'm doing with them yet. Maybe something. I don't know. I don't know how they'll knit up. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'll just alternate skeins and it'll be all good. Let's see. That's it for enabling, and that's it for my little self-dyeing thing. My garden's been doing okay. My cherry tomatoes have been crazy. I don't even like cherry tomatoes. I don't know why I planted 3 of them then, but whatever. The peppers have been happy. It's starting to get cool here, actually. Like, it's getting down to 10 degrees Celsius at night. The wind has been cool, so the tomatoes are kind of starting to turn yellow. I'm thinking about pulling them up and cleaning out the pots and putting them away. The blueberry bush is still doing good and growing. The peppers are still out there. They're actually still just flowering. I don't know if they'll actually, there's one pepper that I can see. We ended up picking off the first blossoms because we read that the second set of blossoms will produce better peppers if you don't allow them to produce the first ones. But I don't think they have enough time anymore. But I'm planning on keeping them inside over winter, maybe, and then letting them do their thing again next summer. But we'll see. And then I still have little lemon trees that are, they're not the happiest lemon trees in the world. And I'm thinking it's the humidity. I don't think it's humid enough for them. I think it's hot enough for them. I don't think it's humid enough for them. So the book that I'm currently reading that I'm going to talk about very briefly because I'm not very far into it is The Passage by Justin Cronin. It is the sections that I'm reading, it's a dystopian fiction book. It's the first book in a trilogy. The last one was just released recently. I picked up the hardcover edition at a used bookstore here in town. As you can see, I'm not very far into it, and so far it kind of reminds me of The Stand by Stephen King, which is like one of my favorite books in the world. It's got that kind of like the end of the world doesn't come about because of war or anything. It comes out of like a virus kind of thing. I'm not even till the actual like the apocalypse hasn't even happened yet. We're still in the build up to it. So yeah, I really can't, I don't know, can't say a whole lot. But it is very good. I'm really enjoying it so far. I haven't touched it for a couple days, which is fine. So yeah, that's what I'm reading. What else have I read this summer? I read Homegoing by Ya Goyasi, which is a new book by a writer from the States. It was really good. I'll talk about it maybe more next time. Because that I actually wanted to do a review of that one this time, but I'll talk about it next time. So yeah, I think that's it. Kept it at 31 minutes. Life stuff might have to wait till next time. I don't want to make this too long. I'm using a new camera. I'm not sure how long it's going to take me to upload it. And I now have some things to put away. Okay, so I will talk to you guys in probably 2 weeks. I hope you're enjoying whatever you're doing, and I hope to talk to you again. Okay.